My parents didn't miss my MIT graduation. They chose my sister's hair appointment. The text arrived at 6:42 a.m. blue light on my dorm ceiling. Mom's typing bubbles. Can't make it today. Emma's stylist had a cancellation. This color correction cost $340. You understand? $340. 4 years of engineering. By 11 a.m., I placed their programs on two empty seats, Kresge Auditorium, row C, seats 7 and 8, crimson fabric under June sun. Around me, 1,009 families erupted in applause. Behind me, shadows where mine should have been. I didn't film it. My roommate's father did those empty seats, those programs, that single graduate standing alone. 2.1 million views by midnight. Dad's entire firm saw it. Mom's yoga studio. Then Emma's stylist called after seeing why they'd really come. The email arrived at 5:14 a.m. on December 15th, 2019. I was awake. I'd been awake for 3 hours, refreshing my inbox every 40 seconds like some kind of broken algorithm. My roommate Jess groaned from across our shoebox dorm room when my phone lit up the ceiling for the 100th time. Nat, go to sleep. Obsessing won't make it come faster. But it did come. Subject: your MIT admission decision. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped my phone. The screen blurred. I blinked 3 times before the words solidified into something real. Dear Natalie Chen, congratulations. I screamed. Jess shot upright, hair everywhere, eyes wild. What? What happened? Are you dying? I got in. My voice cracked. I got into MIT. She was out of bed in 2 seconds, yanking me into a hug that smelled like coconut shampoo and the kind of joy that didn't need caffeine. We jumped on her bed like children. My phone tumbled onto her pillow, still glowing with those impossible words. Full scholarship covering tuition, room, and board. Total value: $312,484 over 4 years. $312,000. I'd done it. I grabbed my phone with shaking fingers and scrolled down. There it was, the financial aid package that meant I wouldn't drown in debt. The scholarship that meant 4 years of one of the best engineering programs in the world without destroying my future. The scholarship that meant I'd actually made something of myself. Call your parents, Jess said, shoving my phone toward me. They're going to lose their minds. I looked at the time, 5:17 a.m. Too early for most people, but my parents were early risers. Dad's accounting firm opened at 7, Mom did yoga at 6, they'd be awake. I called Mom first. She answered on the 4th ring, voice thick with sleep. Natalie? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I was grinning so hard my face hurt. I got in, Mom. I got into MIT. Full scholarship. Silence. Not the good kind. Not the breath before the scream kind. The kind that stretched too long and landed wrong. Oh, her voice flattened. That's nice, honey. Nice. It's MIT, Mom. Full ride. $300,000. That's wonderful, sweetheart, really. Hold on. Muffled sounds. Her hand over the phone. Voices in the background. Then she was back. Sorry, Emma just texted. She's got big news, too. My stomach dropped. What news? She and Brandon are setting a date. Can you believe it? Our baby's getting married. Her voice lifted in a way it hadn't for my acceptance. I have to call her back. We'll talk about your school thing later, okay? Congratulations, Nat. Really? She hung up. I stared at my phone. School thing? Jess was watching me, her smile fading. What did she say? She said, congratulations. I tried to make my voice sound normal. It didn't work. But Emma's setting her wedding date. Jess's face did something complicated. And that's more important than MIT? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I called Dad next. Maybe he'd be different. Maybe he'd understand what this meant, the hours I'd spent in AP classes, the weekends I'd given up for robotics competitions, the college essay I'd rewritten 17 times until my eyes bled. he answered on the second ring. Natalie. Early call. Everything okay? I got into MIT, Dad, full scholarship. MIT? He paused. I heard papers rustling. That's in Boston, right? Cambridge, yeah. Long way from home. More rustling. A sigh. That's good, Nat. Really good. You worked hard. Listen, I'm neck deep in tax documents right now. April's coming fast. Can we talk about this tonight? Sure. Yeah. Tonight. Great. Proud of you, kiddo. He hung up. I sat on Jess's bed, phone dead in my hands, and tried to remember why this had felt like a miracle 3 minutes ago. Jess sat next to me. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. I thought about the promise my parents made when I was 8 years old. I was in third grade. Emma was in seventh. We were at her middle school awards ceremony, watching her accept a participation ribbon for the science fair, third place out of 3 entries in her category. My parents stood and cheered like she'd cured cancer. On the drive home, Emma sat in front, clutching her ribbon, while I stared out the window in the back seat. I'm going to win first place someday, I said. Mom glanced at me in the rearview mirror. That's a lovely goal, honey. I'm going to go to a really good college, like Harvard or MIT. Dad laughed. MIT? That's ambitious. I'm going to get in, I said. I was 8. I believed in impossible things. Mom's eyes met mine in the mirror. Her smile was warm, real. If you get into MIT, baby, we'll cry together at your graduation. I promise. I held on to that promise for 10 years. That night, I called home again. Mom answered, distracted. Hey, Nat, what's up? I just wanted to talk about MIT. I know it was early this morning, but, oh, honey, I'm so glad you called. Did you hear about Emma's date? June 2024. It's going to be beautiful. We're thinking outdoor ceremony, maybe at that vineyard upstate. Mom, my voice cracked. Can we talk about MIT? Of course, you got in. That's wonderful. We're so proud. Proud. The word landed like loose change on a counter, polite, obligatory, worth exactly what it sounded like. It's a full scholarship, Mom. $312,000. Do you know what that means? It means you won't have student loans. That's great, Nat. Really smart. She paused. Emma's wedding budget is looking like $89,000. Can you believe venue costs these days? Your father's having a heart attack over the numbers. $89,000 for one day. $312,000 for my future. Guess which one mattered? I have to go, I said. Okay, sweetie. Love you. We'll talk more later. We didn't. The acceptance letter came in the mail 3 weeks later, thick envelope, official MIT seal, the kind of thing people frame. I opened it at the kitchen table while my parents argued about floral arrangements for Emma's engagement party. Peonies are too expensive, Dad said. But they're her favorite, Mom countered. I pulled out the letter, heavy cardstock, embossed logo. Congratulations, Natalie Chen. Welcome to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, class of 2024. I got my official acceptance letter, I said. Mom glanced over. That's nice, honey. Can you set the table? Emma and Brandon are coming for dinner. I set the table. Emma arrived an hour later, glowing, holding Brandon's hand like it was made of sunlight. She hugged me, smelling like expensive perfume I couldn't afford. Mitt girl, she said. Look at you, my genius little sister. She meant it. Emma wasn't cruel. She was just the favorite, and favorites don't have to try. At dinner, they talked about the wedding for 90 minutes. Venue options, dress styles, guest list drama. I sat there, cutting my chicken into smaller and smaller pieces, watching my parents light up in a way they never did for me. We're thinking 200 guests, Emma said. Mom gasped. That many? It's our day, Mom. We want everyone there. Everyone. I wondered if that included me. Natalie, you'll be a bridesmaid, right? Emma asked. Of course, I said, because what else could I say? Perfect. We're doing sage green dresses. They'll look amazing on you. Sage green. My least favorite color. She knew that. After dinner, I helped Mom with dishes. She was humming, happy, her hands sudsy and warm. Emma's so excited, she said. I've never seen her like this. Yeah. You'll find someone too, Nat. Don't worry. I'm not worried about that, Mom. I'm worried about. Oh, before I forget, can you request June 15th off from your summer job? That's Emma's bridal shower. I'm hosting. June 15th. 3 days after my high school graduation. I'll try, I said. She kissed my forehead. You're a good sister. I finished the dishes alone. I started at MIT in August 2020. Moved into my dorm with 2 suitcases and a backpack. My parents didn't come. Emma needed help addressing wedding invitations. Dad sent a text. Good luck, kiddo. Make us proud. Make us proud. Like I hadn't already been trying for 18 years. Jess became my family. She was from Oregon, studying biology, and had the kind of laugh that made strangers smile. We stayed up until 3 a.m. talking about everything: her parents' divorce, my invisible child syndrome, the crushing weight of being young and broke and desperate to prove something. They'll come around, she said one night. Sophomore year, after I'd cried about missing Thanksgiving because I couldn't afford the flight home. When you graduate, they'll see what you've done. They'll show up. I wanted to believe her. I did believe her. That was the problem. My family had a trophy shelf. It lived in our living room, mounted above the television. 10 feet of polished oak that Dad installed when Emma was 12. The shelf held exactly 43 items. I counted them once during Christmas break, junior year of high school, while everyone else watched a movie. 41 belonged to Emma. 2 were mine. Emma's trophies weren't for winning. They were for participating. Third-place ribbons from science fairs she barely tried in. Certificates for most improved in sports she quit after 1 season. A plastic medal from a 5K charity run where she walked the entire course. My 2 items sat at the far end, wedged between a decorative candle and a photo of Emma at prom. 1. First place, regional robotics competition, junior year. Our team designed a robot that could sort recycling by material type. I coded the AI. We beat 23 schools. 2. Perfect SAT score certificate. 1,600. Top 1% in the nation. Mom dusted Emma's trophies every Sunday. She dusted around mine. I noticed because I was always looking for proof that I mattered. You do that when you're the spare child. You count things. You measure distances. You catalog the ways you're forgotten. I was 10 when I realized Emma was the favorite. It was my birthday. February 9th. Mom made cupcakes vanilla with grocery store frosting, the kind that comes in a plastic tub. 12 cupcakes arranged on a plate. She stuck a candle in one and sang off-key while Dad recorded on his phone. I blew out the candle. I wished for a telescope. I didn't get one. 3 months later, it was Emma's 14th birthday. Mom ordered a custom cake from the fancy bakery downtown. 3 layers, fondant flowers, Emma's name in frosted cursive. It cost $180. I know because I saw the receipt on the counter. My cupcakes cost $12. I didn't say anything. What was I supposed to say? Why does she get 15 times more cake than me? I was 10. I didn't have the language for inequity yet. But I had eyes. And I learned to see the pattern. When I was 14, I needed a dress for the 8th grade semi-formal. Nothing fancy, just something that didn't scream. I shop in the clearance section because my parents forget I exist. Can we go shopping this weekend? I asked Mom. She was on her laptop, scrolling through something. For what? The dance. I need a dress. How much are we talking? I don't know. $50? She frowned. That's a lot, Nat. Can you wear something you already have? I didn't own anything appropriate. My closet was jeans and hoodies and the Christmas sweater Grandma sent 2 years ago. I don't have anything. Mom sighed. Let me see what I can do. She gave me $40 and dropped me off at Target. I bought a navy dress on clearance for $28. It was too big. The fabric was polyester and smelled like chemicals. I wore it anyway. 2 weeks later, Emma announced she was going to prom. Mom booked an appointment at a bridal boutique. They spent 4 hours trying on dresses. Emma chose a floor-length emerald gown with beading on the bodice. It cost $370, plus alterations, plus shoes, plus hair and makeup appointments. I added it up later. $812 for Emma's prom, $40 for my semi-formal. When I asked Mom why, she said, "Prom is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, Nat. You'll understand when you're older." I went to prom 2 years later, in a dress I bought with money from my part-time job at the library. $22, clearance rack at Marshall's. Mom didn't ask to see it. She spent 6 hours helping Emma get ready for her college graduation party. The real breaking point was college applications. I applied to 14 schools. MIT was my dream, but I wasn't naive. I applied to backups too. Each application cost money. Sending SAT scores cost money. College visits cost money. I worked 20 hours a week at the library to cover it. My parents contributed $200 total. "That should be enough for a few applications," Dad said. It wasn't. I applied to MIT Early Action with money I'd saved from shelving books and checking out textbooks to undergrads who didn't say thank you. I paid the $85 application fee with a debit card that had $92 in it. When I got my acceptance, I called them at 5:14 a.m. because I thought they'd want to know immediately. I thought wrong. Emma got engaged in November of my freshman year at MIT. The proposal was elaborate. Brandon rented a rooftop restaurant, hired a photographer, arranged for a violinist to play while he got on one knee. Emma posted 17 Instagram stories about it. Mom and Dad flew to New York to celebrate with them that weekend. They didn't visit me once during freshman year. MIT is a 45-minute drive from our house in Lexington. 45 minutes. Emma lived in Manhattan 4 hours by car. They drove it 6 times that year. I kept count. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself I was busy anyway, problem sets, lab work, trying to survive introduction to algorithms without crying in the library bathroom. I told myself I didn't need them, but I wanted them. That was the pathetic part. I still wanted them to show up. Sophomore year, Emma started wedding planning. The budget ballooned from $50,000 to $65,000 to $89,000. My parents paid for all of it: venue, catering, flowers, photographer, band, open bar, hotel block for out-of-town guests. $89,000 for one day. I called home one night in October, 2 weeks before midterms, because I was drowning and needed to hear my mother's voice. "Hey, honey," Mom said. She sounded distracted. "Hi, I just wanted to talk. It's been a rough week." "Oh no, what's wrong?" "Just school. It's hard. I'm taking 18 units and working 10 hours a week, and I'm so tired, Mom. I don't know if I can—" "Hold on, Nat. Emma's calling on the other line. Can I call you back?" "Sure." She didn't call back. I stayed up until 3 a.m., finishing a problem set that was due at 9 a.m. I got 5 hours of sleep. I failed the midterm. 2 days later, Mom called. "Sorry I didn't get back to you," she said. "Emma needed help with seating charts. It's so stressful you have no idea." "Anyway, what were you calling about?" "Nothing," I said. "It's fine." "Great. Hey, can you request time off for Thanksgiving?" Emma wants the whole family there for her engagement party redo. Long story. The first venue fell through. It's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. The Sunday before Thanksgiving was the day before my quantum mechanics final. I can't. I have exams. Mom's voice cooled. "It's family, Natalie." "It's my future. Emma's your sister. She wants you there." I bit my tongue until I tasted iron. "I'll see what I can do." I didn't go. I couldn't. I stayed in my dorm and studied and tried not to think about the photos Emma posted. Mom in a gold dress, Dad giving a toast, everyone smiling like they were whole. Junior year, I stopped calling home. Not dramatically. Not with an announcement. I just stopped. I stopped calling to share my grades, stopped texting about internship offers, stopped mentioning when I made the dean's list, or when my robotics project got featured in the engineering department newsletter. They didn't notice. For 3 months, we didn't speak unless I initiated. I was testing something. I wanted to see if they'd reach out, if they'd wonder why their daughter had gone silent. Mom called once, on Valentine's Day. "Hey Nat, just wanted to check in, how's school?" "Fine." "Good, good." "Hey, Emma's dress fitting is next month. Can you come? She really wants you there." "I have midterms." "Can't you reschedule?" "It's her wedding, Nat. This is important." Her wedding was 14 months away. My midterms were in 2 weeks. "I'll try," I said. I didn't try. Emma called me after, crying. "You don't care about my wedding." "I care. I just have school." "School will always be there. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event." School would always be there. That was the point. School was the thing I was building my life on. School was the reason I worked 60-hour weeks and survived on ramen and library vending machine coffee. But Emma's wedding was once in a lifetime. So I guess I knew where I ranked. By senior year, I'd made peace with it. Or I thought I had. I stopped expecting them to visit. Stopped hoping they'd ask about my thesis project, or my job interviews, or the patent application I was filing with 2 professors. I built a life at MIT that didn't include them friends. Research. Late-night problem set sessions with people who understood what it meant to be tired and brilliant, and barely holding on. Jess became my family. My lab partner, Marcus, became my brother. Professor Huang became the mentor my parents never were. I was fine. And then, graduation came. I sent the invitation in March. Physical invitation, printed on cardstock. Because MIT does it formally. I addressed it by hand. Mr. and Mrs. Richard Chin, 47 Maple Street, Lexington, MA. I included a note. Graduation is June 10th, 11 a.m. I'd really love for you to be there. It would mean everything. I mailed it with a stamp that cost 68 cents. Mom texted 2 days later. "Got the invitation. We'll check our schedules and let you know." 2 weeks passed. I texted her. "Did you check your schedules?" "Still looking." Emma's wedding is June 15th, so it's a busy month. 5 days between my graduation and her wedding. I wasn't asking for much. Just 3 hours, just a seat in an auditorium, just proof that I'd been worth the last 22 years. Another week passed. I called. "Hey, Mom, did you and Dad figure out if you can come to graduation?" "We're trying, honey. It's just complicated. Emma's got so much going on, final dress fitting, last-minute vendor meetings. Your dad's drowning at work." "It's 3 hours." I know. We'll do our best." "Can you just tell me yes or no? I need to know how many seats to reserve." She sighed. "Don't pressure us, Natalie. We'll figure it out." She hung up. I reserved 2 seats. I told myself they'd come. I told myself the last 22 years of coming second didn't mean I'd come second on the day that mattered most. I told myself I wasn't the spare child. I was wrong. The text came at 6:42 a.m. I was already awake. I'd been awake since 5, staring at the ceiling of my dorm room, watching the sky turn from black to gray to the kind of pale blue that promised heat. June in Cambridge was thick and sticky, the kind of weather that made your graduation gown cling to your skin before you even put it on. My phone lit up. Mom's name. I grabbed it so fast I almost knocked over the water glass on my nightstand. "Mom, can't make it today." Emma's stylist had a cancellation. "This color correction cost $340. You understand." I read it 3 times. Then I read it again. The words didn't change. "Can't make it." Emma's stylist. $340. You understand. I didn't understand. I didn't understand how a hair appointment, a color correction, was worth more than 4 years of my life. I didn't understand how they could choose Emma's highlights over my graduation from one of the best engineering schools in the world. I didn't understand how they could do this and expect me to understand. My hands started shaking. Jess sat up in her bed across the room, squinting at me. Nat, you okay? I couldn't speak. She got out of bed, crossed the room in 3 steps, and took the phone from my hands. She read the text. Her face went from confused to horrified to furious in under 5 seconds. Are you fucking kidding me? I still couldn't speak. A hair appointment? They're missing your MIT graduation for a hair appointment? The words sounded worse when she said them out loud. It's a color correction, I said. My voice sounded far away. Those are expensive. I don't care if it's 24-karat gold highlights applied by God himself. This is your graduation. I stood up. My legs felt wrong. I need to shower. Nat, I need to shower. I locked myself in the bathroom and turned the water as hot as it would go. I stood under the spray until my skin turned red, until the water ran cold, until I couldn't tell if I was crying or if it was just the shower. They weren't coming. I'd known, on some level. I'd known since they said we'll check our schedules instead of course we'll be there. I'd known since they spent $89,000 on Emma's wedding without blinking but couldn't drive 45 minutes to see me graduate. But knowing and knowing are different things. I got out of the shower, got dressed, put on the white blouse and black pants that were supposed to go under my graduation gown. My hands were still shaking. Jess was waiting with coffee and a granola bar. Eat, she said. I'm not hungry. Eat anyway. I ate. At 9 a.m., we walked to Kresge Auditorium. The sun was already brutal. My gown stuck to my shoulders. Other graduates streamed toward the building in rivers of black fabric and bright honor, cords gold for summa cum laude, silver for magna, red for engineering honors. I wore all 3. I'd earned all 3. I'd worked 60-hour weeks, survived on 4 hours of sleep, cried in lab bathrooms, and written a thesis on battery efficiency optimization that my professor called publishable, and my parents were at a hair salon. Kresge Auditorium was beautiful. Soaring ceilings, modern architecture, light flooding through geometric windows, rows of crimson chairs filled with families who'd traveled across the country, across the world to be here. I found my assigned seats. Row C, seats 7 and 8. I'd reserved them 6 weeks ago. I'd written my parents' names on the reservation form. I stood there, holding 2 programs, staring at the empty chairs. Crimson fabric, polished wood frames, reserved placards that said Chen family. Jess appeared next to me. Nat, it's fine. It's not fine. They're busy, Emma needed. Stop. Jess grabbed my shoulders. Stop making excuses for them. This is not fine. This is not okay. And you don't have to pretend it is. I placed the programs on the seats. Carefully. 1 on each chair. Centered perfectly. If they weren't going to sit here, at least people would know someone was supposed to. The ceremony started at 11 a.m. I sat in the graduate section, surrounded by people whose families had shown up. Around me, 1,009 graduates whispered excitedly, adjusted their caps, took selfies with friends. Behind us, the audience filled every seat: parents, siblings, grandparents, partners, children. 2,000 people. Easy. I turned around once, scanning the crowd. Hoping, still hoping, even after the text, even after everything, that maybe they'd changed their minds, that maybe they were stuck in traffic, that maybe they'd realized this mattered and they were here, somewhere, looking for me. Row C, seats 7 and 8 were empty. The program sat untouched. Around those empty seats, families crowded together, fathers with cameras, mothers wiping tears, siblings holding signs with graduates' names in glitter. I turned back around. The dean started speaking. I didn't hear a word. They called my name at 11:47 a.m. Natalie Marie Chen, Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, magna cum laude. I walked across the stage. 4 years compressed into 10 seconds. 4 years of problem sets that made me cry, of labs that ran until 3 a.m., Of professors who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Of 60-hour weeks working and studying because I couldn't afford not to. Of ramen and library coffee and panic attacks in bathroom stalls. 4 years of being invisible at home and extraordinary here. I shook the dean's hand. Accepted my diploma cover. Smiled for the photographer. The audience applauded. Somewhere in that applause, Jess was screaming. Marcus was whistling. Professor Huang was probably tearing up. She cried at everything. But row C, seats 7 and 8 were silent. I walked off the stage. I didn't cry. I didn't cry during the rest of the ceremony. Didn't cry when they played the MIT fight song. Didn't cry when we threw our caps in the air and everyone around me hugged their families. I hugged Jess. She held on tight. I'm so proud of you. Thanks. Your parents are idiots. Yeah. Marcus found us, grinning, his family trailing behind him. We did it! Holy shit, we actually did it. His mom hugged me. Congratulations, Natalie. Your parents must be so proud. I smiled. They couldn't make it today. Her face fell. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. It's okay, they had something important. It wasn't okay. And Emma's hair wasn't important. But what else was I supposed to say? After the ceremony, families flooded out onto the lawn for photos. Everywhere I looked. Graduates with their arms around their parents. Siblings holding diplomas. Grandparents crying. Boyfriends kissing, girlfriends in caps and gowns. Jess's parents flew in from Oregon. They insisted on taking photos with me. Jess's mom kept saying, "You're part of our family now, sweetie." I smiled for the pictures. I thanked them. I excused myself to the bathroom and locked myself in a stall and finally let myself cry. Not because they didn't come, because I'd known they wouldn't, and I'd hoped anyway. That was the part that hurt. I checked my phone at 1 p.m. No calls. No texts. At 1:17 p.m., Mom posted on Instagram a photo of Emma at the salon, hair freshly colored, blown out in perfect waves, smiling at the camera. The caption, "Emergency appointment with our favorite stylist, crisis averted. Number worth it. Crisis averted." She tagged the location, Bloom Salon, Cambridge, MA. I stared at the location tag. Cambridge. The salon was in Cambridge. I opened Google Maps, entered the address. 8 minutes. The salon was 8 minutes from Kresge Auditorium. 8 minutes. They'd been 8 minutes away, and they hadn't come. Something inside me cracked. Not broke. Broke implies suddenness, violence, sound. This was quiet. This was a foundation giving way after years of wait. I scrolled through Mom's Instagram, found Emma's account. She'd posted too, a mirror selfie, hair flawless, holding a Starbucks cup. Her caption, "Mom saved the day. Last-minute color fix before the big day. Love her so much." The post had 63 likes, 12 comments. Everyone saying how beautiful she looked, how lucky she was, how excited they were for the wedding. No one mentioned me. No one said, "Wait, wasn't there a graduation today?" No one knew. I checked Emma's previous post. From this morning, 7 a.m. T-minus 5 days to wedding. Hair crisis equals fixed. Thank God for amazing parents who drop everything. Drop everything. They dropped me. Jess found me on a bench outside the auditorium at 2 p.m. I was still in my gown, still holding my diploma cover, staring at my phone. She sat down next to me, didn't say anything. "They were 8 minutes away," I said. "What?" I showed her the Instagram post, the location tag, the Google Maps route. The salon is 8 minutes from here. They chose 8 minutes of driving over my graduation. Jess stared at the screen. "Natalie. And Emma's hair looks exactly the same as last month. I checked her photos. There's no difference. This wasn't an emergency. This was an excuse. I know. They didn't want to come. I know. They've never wanted to come. My voice cracked. Jess put her arm around me. What do you need? I thought about it. 4 years of invisible grief. 4 years of coming second. 4 years of excuses and empty promises and being told I was dramatic, sensitive, asking for too much. 4 years of telling myself it would be worth it when they saw me walk across that stage. They'd been 8 minutes away. I need them to know, I said. Know what? Everything. I looked at her. I need everyone to know what they did. Jess nodded slowly. Okay, I'm serious. I know, I believe you. She squeezed my shoulder. What's the plan? I didn't have one yet, but I would. Because 8 minutes away wasn't a schedule conflict. 8 minutes away was a choice. And I was done being the choice they didn't make. I couldn't stop looking at the map. 8 minutes. I sat on that bench outside Kresge Auditorium for another hour after Jess left to meet her parents for dinner. My phone screen kept going dark. I kept waking it up, opening Google Maps, staring at the route between Bloom's salon and the auditorium. 8 minutes. 14 if there was traffic. They could have come to my graduation and still made Emma's appointment. The ceremony started at 11. Emma's Instagram timestamp showed 12:43 p.m. at the salon. They'd had almost 2 hours. More than enough time. Unless they never planned to come at all. I zoomed in on the salon's location. It was on Mass Ave, near Central Square. I'd walked past it 100 times on my way to the library. Red awning, big windows, always busy on weekends. I clicked on the salon's Instagram page. Their story from this morning was still up. Sunday, fun day. Walk-ins welcome 10 to 4. Walk-ins welcome. Not emergency appointments only. Not by appointment only. Walk-ins. So it wasn't an emergency. Emma could have gone any time, could have gone tomorrow, could have waited until after the wedding if it was really that important. But Mom's text said the stylist had a cancellation. Why lie about that? I screenshotted everything. The Instagram story, the Google Maps route, Emma's post with the timestamp, Mom's caption about the emergency. I didn't know why I was documenting it. I just knew I needed to. Something wasn't right. That night, I stayed at Jess's family's hotel room. They'd booked a suite at the Marriott 2 bedrooms, pull-out couch, view of the Charles River. Jess's mom ordered room service for all of us and didn't let me pay for anything. You graduated from MIT, honey, she said, squeezing my hand. Tonight you celebrate. We ate pasta and chocolate cake. Jess's dad told embarrassing stories about her childhood. Her little brother showed me videos of his robotics team. It was warm and loud and everything a graduation night should be. But I kept checking my phone. Nothing from my parents. At 9 p.m., I excused myself to the bathroom and called home. Dad answered. Natalie. Hi. Hi, Dad. Silence. I graduated today, I said. Right. Yes. Congratulations. He sounded distracted, tired. How was it? It was good. Would have been better if you'd been there. More silence. Your mother explained about Emma's hair situation. Her hair situation. I kept my voice even. The salon was 8 minutes away, Dad. What? Bloom Salon. Mass Avenue, I looked it up. 8 minutes from the ceremony. He cleared his throat. Well, by the time we got Emma there and dealt with the appointment, it was too late to... The ceremony was 2.5 hours long, and Emma's Instagram shows she was at the salon at 12:43. You had time. Longer silence. Natalie, I don't appreciate your tone. My tone. I don't appreciate missing my graduation for a walk-in hair appointment. It wasn't a walk-in. The stylist had a cancellation. Your sister was panicking. The salon's Instagram said walk-ins welcome. I don't know what you want me to say here. His voice hardened. Emma needed us. You're an adult. You understand that sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes things don't work out. 22 years of coming second, and that was his explanation. Right, I said. Okay. We'll make it up to you. We'll take you to dinner when things calm down after the wedding. Sure. Don't be dramatic about this, Natalie. I hung up. I didn't cry. I was done crying. I sat on the bathroom floor with my phone and opened my banking app. I don't know why. Maybe because numbers made sense when nothing else did. Maybe because I needed to see proof of something. Anything that was real and quantifiable. My checking account? $1,247. My savings account? $3,891. 4 years of working campus jobs. 4 years of every spare dollar going toward textbooks, food, emergencies. I'd saved $3,000 by living on ramen and never going out. Emma's wedding cost $89,000. I'd seen the budget spreadsheet once, back in March, when Mom left it open on her laptop. I'd glanced over while getting water. Venue, $28,000. Catering, $19,000. Photography, $6,500. Flowers, $4,200. $89,000 for one day. My parents had paid for all of it, but they couldn't drive 8 minutes to see me graduate. I opened my credit monitoring app, the free one I'd signed up for sophomore year after a campus security seminar on identity theft. I checked it once a month, mostly out of paranoia. The app loaded. Credit score, 602. I stared at the number. That was wrong. I'd checked 2 months ago. My score was 720. I'd never missed a payment on anything. I didn't even have a credit card, just my debit card and student loans that weren't due until after graduation. I refreshed the app. Credit score, 602. My hands started shaking. I clicked into the details. Accounts. Federal student loans, 31,000. Capital One Visa, $14,837, current. Chase Sapphire, $8,941, current. Capital One, Chase. I didn't have those cards. I'd never applied for those cards. I clicked on the Capital One account. Account opened, the 12th of September 2021. Credit limit, $15,000. Current balance, $14,837. Minimum payment, $310 month. Payment history, 33 on-time payments. 33 payments. Someone had been paying this card for 33 months. Someone who wasn't me. I burst out of the bathroom. Jess looked up from her phone. You okay? Someone opened credit cards in my name. Everyone stopped. Jess's parents, her brother. All eyes on me. What? Jess stood up. I showed her my phone. 2 cards. Almost $24,000. I didn't open them. Her dad crossed the room in 3 steps. Let me see. I handed him my phone. He was a lawyer corporate, not criminal, but still. He knew things. He scrolled through the app, his face getting darker. When did you last check this? April, maybe early May. And these accounts weren't there? No, my score was 720. Now it's 602. He kept scrolling. The accounts were opened in September 2021. You would have seen them before if they were there. So someone just added them? No. He looked up at me. Someone's been hiding them. The app pulls from credit bureaus. If accounts show up now but weren't there before, someone was disputing them or had them suppressed somehow. But that's complicated, hard to do. Who would do that? He didn't answer right away. Jess did. Your parents. I shook my head. Why would they? Natalie, Jess grabbed my shoulders. Who has your social security number? Everyone has my social security number, FAFSA forms, tax documents, medical records. My parents. No, I said. They wouldn't. But even as I said it, I knew. 8 minutes away. $89,000 for Emma. $3,000 in my savings account after 4 years of work. Capital One Visa, $14,837. Chase Sapphire, $8,941. Total $23,778. Emma's wedding cost $89,000. My parents' contribution? $89,000. But Dad's accounting firm had been struggling. Mom's part-time bookkeeping barely covered groceries. Where did $89,000 come from? Oh my God, I whispered. Jess's dad was still scrolling. You need to call these credit card companies. Tonight. Report this as fraud. What if it's not fraud? My voice sounded far away. What if they just borrowed my credit? Borrowed? He looked at me like I was insane. Natalie, if someone opened accounts in your name without permission, that's identity theft. It's a crime. But they're my parents. That makes it worse, not better. I called Capital One first. The automated system tried to get me to use the app. I pressed 0 4 times until a human answered. Capital One, this is Derek. How can I help you? I need to report fraud. Someone opened an account in my name. I'm sorry to hear that. Can I get your account number? I read it off my credit report. Keys clicking. Okay, I have the account. Can you verify your social security number and date of birth? I did. More clicking. And you're saying you didn't open this account? No. I've never applied for a Capital One card. Our records show the application came from an IP address in Lexington, Massachusetts. Is that your current address? My parents' address. No, I live in Cambridge. The application lists a Lexington address for billing, 47 Maple Street. My parents' house. That's not my address. Do you know who might have access to your personal information at that address? I closed my eyes. My parents. Pause. I see. And do you believe your parents opened this account without your knowledge? I don't know, maybe. Okay. Here's what we need to do. I'm going to flag this account as disputed fraud. You'll need to fill out an affidavit and provide a copy of your ID. We'll also need a police report. A police report? Yes, ma'am. If this is identity theft, you need to file a report with local law enforcement. We can't process the fraud claim without it. A police report against my parents. What happens after I file? We'll freeze the account, reverse the charges, and investigate. If we confirm fraud, the account will be closed and removed from your credit report. The person who opened it could face criminal charges. Criminal charges. Okay, I said. I'll file the report. I'm sending the affidavit to your email on file. Is Natalie Chen 2024 at mit.edu correct? Yes. Perfect. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, Miss Chen. Identity theft is a serious crime. He hung up. I called Chase next. Same conversation, same outcome, same requirement. Police report. I sat on the hotel couch, phone dead in my hands. Jess sat next to me. You don't have to do this tonight. I have to do it eventually. I know, but not tonight. Tonight, you just graduated from MIT. Give yourself one night. I wanted to. I wanted to pretend I didn't know. Wanted to go back to 3 hours ago when I was just a graduate with absent parents, not a victim of identity theft. But I couldn't, because 33 on-time payments meant they'd been doing this for almost 3 years, and they'd kept it hidden. And they'd missed my graduation while spending money they'd stolen from me. I need to see the charges, I said. I couldn't sleep. Jess's family went to bed around midnight. I lay on the pull-out couch, staring at the ceiling, my phone hot in my hand. I'd logged into the Capital One account using the Forgot Password feature. Reset the password. Got in. Now I was scrolling through 2.5 years of charges. Every purchase was there. Date, merchant, amount. September 2021. Bella Bridal Boutique. $3,200. Deposit. Riverside Vineyard. $4,800. James Chen Photography. $2,900. October 2021. Catering deposit. Gourmet Affairs. $3,100. Paper and lace invitations, $890. Payment, Dio something blue florist, $1,200. November 2021. Final payment, Bella Bridal, $2,400. Alterations, Sophie's Studio, $340. Bridesmaids' dresses deposit, $890. It went on and on. Every charge was for Emma's wedding. Venue payments, dress fittings, photographer deposits, floral arrangements, cake tastings, rentals for chairs and linens and string lights. My credit card had paid for my sister's wedding. I opened the Chase account next. Reset that password to September 2021. Registry gifts, Crate and Barrel, $1,240. Honeymoon deposit, Sandals Resort, $2,800. Wedding bands, Bernard's Jewelers, $3,400. More wedding expenses. I added it up on my phone's calculator. Capital One, $14,837. Chase, $8,941. Total, $23,778. $23,778. Stolen from me. To pay for Emma's wedding, while I worked 3 jobs, while I lived on ramen, while I wore the same 3 outfits on rotation because I couldn't afford new clothes, while I skipped meals to save money for textbooks. They were spending my credit on cake tastings. My stomach turned. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Everything from dinner, the pasta, the chocolate cake, the sparkling cider Jess's mom had ordered to celebrate. It all came back up in acidic waves that burned my throat. I knelt on the tile floor, shaking. Someone knocked softly. "Natalie?" Jess's voice. "I'm okay." "You're not." I wasn't. She came in anyway, sat on the floor next to me, pulled my hair back even though I'd already finished. "How bad?" she asked. $23,000, all for Emma's wedding. She didn't say anything, just sat with me while I cried on a hotel bathroom floor at 2 a.m. The next morning, Jess's parents offered to drive me back to campus. I declined. I needed to go somewhere else first. "Where?" Jess asked. "My parents' house." "Nat, that's a bad idea. I need to see if there's more, bank statements, applications, something that proves they did this." "You already have proof, the credit cards." "I need to see it in writing. I need their signatures." Jess's dad overhead. "If you're going to file a police report, you'll need documentation. But be careful. Don't take anything that could be considered theft. Just photograph what you find." "I'm not stealing from them. They stole from me." "I know. But legally, it's their house. Document everything. Don't remove originals." I nodded. Jess insisted on coming with me. We took the T to Lexington. The house was empty. Mom and Dad were both at work, probably. Emma was in New York. I still had my key. The house looked the same. Beige siding, black shutters, maple tree in the front yard. I'd lived here for 18 years, but standing on the porch now, it felt like a stranger's house. I unlocked the door. Inside, the same furniture, the same smell. Mom's lavender candles and Dad's coffee. The trophy shelf above the TV. Emma's 41 awards gathering dust. "Where do we start?" Jess asked. Dad's office. Dad's office was on the first floor, off the living room. He kept all the financial documents there, tax returns, bank statements, investment portfolios. He was meticulous about records. Kept everything filed and labeled. If there were credit card applications with my name on them, they'd be here. The office door was unlocked. I pushed it open. File cabinets lined one wall. Dad's desk sat under the window, neat and organized. Desktop computer, printer, a stack of folders labeled by year. I started with the file cabinet, pulled open the drawer labeled Credit and Banking. Manila folders, alphabetized. Capital One, Chase. My hands shook as I pulled them out. The Capital One folder had everything. The original application, printed on their branded paper. Date, the 10th of September 2021. Applicant name, Natalie Marie Chen. Social Security number, my SSN. Date of birth, the 9th of February 2002. Annual income, $48,000. I'd never made $48,000 in my life. I was a student working part-time. Employment, software engineer, Boston Analytics Group. I'd never worked there. I'd never even heard of that company. At the bottom, a signature. Natalie Chen. It wasn't my signature. Close, but not quite. The capital N was wrong, too rounded. The loop on the C was too big. Someone had tried to forge it, but they'd gotten it wrong. I took a photo of every page. The Chase application was the same. Forged signature. Fake employment information. My real social security number and date of birth. Both applications listed my parents' address as the billing address. Both had been approved within 48 hours. There were also statements. Every month from September 2021 to June 2024. 33 months of statements showing every charge, every payment. The payments came from my parents' joint checking account. They'd been paying the minimum each month, $310 to Capital One, $187 to Chase, to keep the accounts in good standing, to keep my credit from being destroyed. Not because they cared about my credit, because if I checked my credit report and saw delinquent accounts, I'd notice. They were covering their tracks. Natalie, Jess's voice from the doorway. You need to see this. She was holding a piece of paper. I crossed the room. What is it? I found it in the printer tray. I think your dad printed it and forgot about it. It was an email, printed in black and white. From susanchin1972@gmail.com to richardchen1970@gmail.com. Date, the 8th of September 2021. Subject, Natalie's info. Richard, here's Natalie's SSN and DOB for the applications. I checked her credit, it's 720, so she'll get approved easily. Apply for both cards on the same day so the inquiries hit at once. Less suspicious. The billing address has to be ours so she doesn't get the statements. I'll set up autopay from checking so we don't miss payments. As long as we pay minimums, her score won't drop too much. She never checks her credit anyway. Emma's venue needs the deposit by next week. We don't have a choice. S. I read it 3 times. She never checks her credit anyway. They'd planned it. They'd researched it. They'd known exactly what they were doing. We need to go, Jess said quietly. Now. I took photos of everything. The email. The applications. The statements. Every piece of evidence in that folder. Then I put everything back exactly where I found it. We left the house, locked the door, walked to the T station in silence. On the train back to Cambridge, I finally spoke. They knew, I said. They knew it was fraud, and they did it anyway. I know. For Emma's wedding, I know. They stole from me to pay for her wedding, and then they skipped my graduation for her hair appointment. Jess grabbed my hand. What do you need? I thought about it. I thought about 22 years of being invisible. 22 years of Emma's participation trophies being worth more than my accomplishments. 22 years of being told to understand, to be flexible, to stop being dramatic. I thought about Mom's email. We don't have a choice. They'd had a choice. They could have told Emma the budget was smaller. They could have asked me for permission. They could have been honest. Instead, they'd stolen my identity and skipped my graduation. I need a lawyer, I said. MIT Student Legal Services opened at 9 a.m. on Monday. I was there at 8:45, sitting outside the office on the 4th floor of the Student Center, my backpack full of printed evidence. Every application, every statement, every email. I hadn't slept. I'd spent all of Sunday organizing the documents, creating a timeline, highlighting the key details. Jess had helped both of us working in her dorm room while her parents checked into their flight back to Oregon. "You're sure about this?" she'd asked around midnight. "No, but I'm doing it anyway." Now, sitting outside the legal services office, I wasn't sure of anything. I was sure they'd stolen from me. That part was documented, printed, undeniable. But filing a police report against your own parents? That felt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. The door opened at 9 exactly. A man in his 40s, glasses, MIT hoodie under a blazer, coffee in hand. "You're early," he said. "You must be my 9 o'clock. Natalie Chen?" "Yes." "Marcus Webb. Come on in." His office was small but organized. Bookshelves full of legal texts. A poster of the MIT campus from the 1950 seconds. A desk with 2 monitors and a pile of case files. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. "So, you mentioned identity theft on your intake form." "Yes." "Tell me what happened." I told him everything. The graduation, the text, the 8-minute drive, the credit monitoring app, the 2 cards with $23,778 in charges, the visit to my parents' house, the applications with forged signatures, the email from my mother. I showed him the photos on my phone. He took notes, didn't interrupt, didn't react except to nod occasionally. When I finished, he sat back in his chair. "This is one of the clearest cases of identity theft I've seen," he said. "Forged applications, forged signatures, premeditated planning, documented in email. It's not even borderline." "What does that mean?" "It means you have an airtight case. If you want to pursue this." "If?" He leaned forward. "Natalie, this is your family. Your parents. If you file a police report, there's a good chance they'll be arrested. They'll be charged with identity theft, which is a felony in Massachusetts. They could face jail time, fines, restitution. Their lives will be destroyed." I didn't say anything. I have to ask, is that what you want? Was it? I thought about Mom's email. She never checks her credit anyway. I thought about Dad's voice on the phone. "Don't be dramatic about this, Natalie. I thought about $23,000 stolen while I survived on ramen. I want them to face consequences," I said. "I'm tired of being told to understand." Marcus nodded. "Then, here are your options." He pulled out a legal pad and started writing. Option 1. Criminal charges. You file a police report with Cambridge PD. They investigate, likely refer it to the DA's office. If prosecuted, your parents could face felony charges identity theft under Massachusetts General Law Chapter 266, Section 37E. That's up to 5 years in prison and $25,000 in fines. Plus restitution, 5 years. Option 2. Civil lawsuit. You sue them for the damages $23,000 plus interest, plus legal fees, plus credit repair costs. Probably $30,000 to $35,000 total. This doesn't involve criminal charges, but it's public record, and it takes time. How much time? 6 months to a year, maybe longer if they fight it. Option 3? You report it to the credit card companies. They reverse the charges, and you walk away. Your credit gets fixed, your parents' credit gets destroyed, but no legal action. I thought about it. Option 3 was the easy one, the quiet one. The one where I didn't have to face them or hurt them or admit to the world what they'd done. It was also the one where they got away with it. "What would you do?" I asked. Marcus set down his pen. "Honestly, I'd file criminal charges, because this isn't just about the money. It's about what they did and why they did it. They stole your identity to fund your sister's wedding. Then they skipped your graduation. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. A choice. And they need to face consequences for that choice," he continued. "Not just financially, legally. Because if they did this to you, what's to stop them from doing it again?" He was right. They'd done this once. They'd planned it, executed it, hidden it for 33 months. They'd only gotten caught because I happened to check my credit score. What if I hadn't checked? What if they'd opened more cards? What if they did this to Emma next? I'll file the report, I said. You're sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Marcus smiled. Good. That's the right answer. He called Cambridge Police and set up an appointment for that afternoon. Detective Lena Ortiz, Financial Crimes Unit. She'd handled identity theft cases before. She's good, Marcus said. Thorough. She won't dismiss this just because it's family. At 2 p.m., I walked into Cambridge Police Headquarters with my backpack full of evidence. Detective Ortiz was in her 50s, gray hair in a bun, wearing a blazer, and the kind of expression that said she'd seen everything twice. She shook my hand. Miss Chen, I understand you're here to report identity theft. Yes. We sat in an interview room, gray walls, fluorescent lights, metal table. She opened a laptop and started typing. Walk me through it. I did. Same story. Same documents. Same photos. She took copies of everything, the applications, the statements, the email from my mother. This is unusually well documented, she said. Most identity theft victims don't have this much proof. My dad keeps good records. She almost smiled. That'll make this easier. Let me ask you some questions. For the next hour, she asked me everything. When had I first noticed? How did I access my parents' files? Did they know I knew? Had they threatened me? Had I confronted them? No. No. Not yet. Good, she said. Don't confront them. Don't tell them you filed a report. Let us handle this. What happens now? I'll open a case. We'll investigate, verify the signatures, confirm the IP addresses, interview the credit card companies. It'll take a few weeks. Once we have everything, I'll refer it to the district attorney. They'll decide whether to press charges. And if they do, your parents will be arrested. They'll be arraigned, probably released on bail. Then it's up to the DA whether to offer a plea deal or go to trial. Arrested. Arraigned. Trial. I felt sick. Detective Ortiz must have seen my face. I know this is hard, but identity theft is a serious crime. And from what I'm seeing here, this was premeditated, sustained, and deliberately hidden. That's not a gray area. They're my parents. I know. And I'm sorry, but they committed a crime against you. You're the victim here. Victim. The word felt too big, too dramatic. But it was accurate. How long will this take? I asked. Investigation phase, 3 to 4 weeks. After that, it depends on the DA's schedule, but I'll move this as fast as I can. She handed me a case number on a slip of paper. Case #20 to 8,847. Keep this. You'll need it for the credit card companies and for any legal proceedings. I folded the paper and put it in my wallet. One more thing, she said. Do your parents have access to any other accounts? Bank accounts, investment accounts, anything with your name on it? I thought about it. My student loan account, maybe? They were co-signers on my FAFSA. Check it. Change all your passwords. Freeze your credit with all 3 bureaus so they can't open any new accounts. And consider getting a restraining order if you think they'll retaliate. Retaliate. I hadn't thought about that. Would they? I asked. I don't know your parents, but people do desperate things when they're caught. Protect yourself. I left the police station at 4 p.m. I sat on a bench outside and called Marcus Webb. It's done, I said. I filed the report. Good. How do you feel? Sick. That's normal. You just reported your parents for a felony. You're allowed to feel sick. What if I made a mistake? You didn't. You did the right thing. It doesn't feel right. It will, eventually. I wasn't sure I believed him. I hung up and opened my banking app, changed my password, enabled two-factor authentication, checked my account history for any suspicious activity. Nothing. Then I called the 3 credit bureaus and froze my credit. No new accounts could be opened in my name without a PIN that only I had. It took 2 hours. By the time I finished, it was dark. I was still sitting on that bench outside the police station, my phone at 12% battery, my whole body exhausted. Jess called. "Where are you?" "Cambridge PD." "Still? It's been hours." I filed the report, and I froze my credit, and I'm trying not to throw up again. "Come back to campus. I have ramen and bad reality TV. We can process." "I need to do one more thing first." "What?" "I need to build a timeline. I need to see exactly when they did this and why." "Nat, I need to understand it, Jess. I need to know how long they've been lying." She sighed. "Fine, but you're doing it here, with ramen, and you're sleeping after. Deal." I got back to campus at 7 p.m. Jess's dorm room was warm and smelled like synthetic chicken broth. She handed me a bowl of ramen and a spreadsheet she'd started on her laptop. "I figured you'd want this," she said. The spreadsheet had columns: date, event, amount, notes. I filled it in. September 2021. Emma gets engaged. Parents apply for 2 credit cards in my name. First charges: venue deposit, $4,800. Dress deposit, $3,200. October 2021. I start sophomore year. Work 20 hours, week at campus library. Parents charge catering deposit, $3,100. Invitations, $890. Florist deposit, $1,200. November 2021. Thanksgiving. I skip Emma's engagement party to study for finals. Parents charge final dress payment, $2,400. Alterations, $340. Bridesmaid dresses, $890. December 2021. I make Dean's list. Call home to tell them. Mom says, "That's nice," and talks about wedding cake flavors for 30 minutes. Parents charge honeymoon deposit, $2,800. It went on. Every month, they'd charged something. Every month, I'd worked and saved and sacrificed. Every month, they'd spent my stolen credit on Emma's wedding. By June 2024, they'd charged $23,778. And on the 10th of June 2024, they'd skipped my graduation for a hair appointment. 8 minutes away. I stared at the spreadsheet. 33 months of fraud. 33 months of lies. And I'd never known. "When do you think they would have told you?" Jess asked quietly. "Never," I said. "They would have paid it off eventually and hoped I never checked my credit." "And if you had checked?" "They would have called it a misunderstanding. A loan. Something I agreed to and forgot about. That's gaslighting." "I know." Jess closed the laptop. "Emma's birthday party is in 3 weeks. I looked at her. "What?" "Your sister's birthday party, June 29th. Your parents are hosting. I saw the Facebook event." I pulled out my phone and checked. She was right. Emma's 28th birthday bash. Saturday, June 29, 6 p.m. Chen Family Home, Lexington. 200 plus guests. Catered event. 200 guests. 3 weeks away. That's a lot of witnesses, Jess said. I looked at her. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking," Detective Ortiz said, "don't confront them." She didn't say, "Don't expose them." My heart started pounding. "You want me to expose them at Emma's birthday party?" "I want you to make them face what they did, in front of everyone, with proof." I thought about it. 200 guests. Family, friends, neighbors, co-workers. Everyone who thought my parents were upstanding, generous, loving. Everyone who had no idea they'd stolen from their own daughter. "That's nuclear," I said. "They deserve nuclear." She was right. They'd stolen from me for 33 months. They'd skipped my graduation for a hair appointment 8 minutes away. They'd called me dramatic when I asked why. They deserved to be exposed. "I'll need to plan it," I said. "I'll need evidence. I'll need the right moment." Jess grinned. "Then let's get started." I didn't tell anyone else for 3 days. Just Jess. Just Marcus Webb. Just Detective Ortiz. I went to my campus job at the robotics lab. I smiled at professors. I ate lunch in the dining hall. I pretended everything was normal while my phone buzzed with updates from the police investigation and my brain replayed Mom's email on a loop. She never checks her credit anyway. On Thursday, I broke. I was in the lab, soldering a circuit board for a project I didn't care about anymore, when my hands started shaking so badly I dropped the soldering iron. It clattered on the workbench. My lab partner, Marcus Rivera, different Marcus, not my lawyer, looked over. "You okay?" "Fine." "You've been weird all week." "I'm fine." He didn't believe me. We'd been partners for 2 years. He knew when I was lying. "Nat, what's going on?" I set down the circuit board, took off my safety glasses, looked at him. My parents stole my identity to pay for my sister's wedding. His face went blank. "What?" "They opened credit cards in my name. $23,000. I found out on graduation day, after they skipped my ceremony for Emma's hair appointment." Marcus just stared. "I filed a police report," I continued. "They're going to be arrested, probably, and I'm going to expose them at my sister's birthday party in front of 200 people." More staring. Then, "Holy shit." "Yeah." "Nat, he ran a hand through his hair. "I don't even know what to say." "You don't have to say anything. I just needed to tell someone. I'm going insane, keeping it to myself." He pulled out his phone. "Cancel your afternoon. We're getting coffee. I have class at 2. Skip it. You just found out your parents are criminals. You're allowed to skip history of engineering." We went to the cafe on Mass Ave, the one with the good espresso and terrible acoustic music. Marcus bought me a latte I didn't ask for and sat across from me in a corner booth. "Start from the beginning," he said. So I did. I told him about the text at 6:42 a.m., the empty seats, the 8-minute drive, the credit monitoring app, the forged signatures, Mom's email, the police report. I showed him the photos on my phone, the applications, the statements, the timeline spreadsheet Jess and I had built. He scrolled through everything in silence. When he finished, he set down my phone and looked at me. "You're the strongest person I know," he said. I wasn't expecting that. "What?" "You graduated from MIT, while working 3 jobs, while your parents stole from you, and now you're filing criminal charges and planning to expose them publicly. That takes guts. Or stupidity." "No, guts." He leaned forward. "Most people would have let this go. Told themselves it was a misunderstanding. Avoided conflict. You're not avoiding anything." "I'm terrified." "That's how you know it matters." I'd never thought about it that way. "Do you think I'm doing the right thing?" I asked. "Honestly? Yeah. I think your parents deserve everything that's coming, and I think you're a badass for making sure they get it." Something in my chest loosened. I'd been so afraid everyone would think I was overreacting, that I was being vindictive or ungrateful or dramatic. That family was supposed to forgive, no matter what. But Marcus didn't say any of that. He said I was strong. And maybe I was. "What do you need?" he asked. "What do you mean?" "For the party, the exposure." "What do you need to pull it off?" I thought about it. I'd been thinking about it for 3 days, but I hadn't said it out loud yet. "Proof," I said. "Physical proof. Documents I can hold up. Something people can see. You have the applications, the statements. I need them printed, highlighted, organized, professional looking, like evidence. I can help with that. My dad's a paralegal. He has access to a color printer and binding equipment." "Really?" "Yeah. Send me the files. I'll have them printed and bound by Monday." "Marcus, you don't have to." "I want to. You shouldn't have to do this alone." Alone. I'd felt so alone since graduation. Even with Jess's support. Even with Marcus Webb's legal help. I'd felt like I was carrying this by myself. But I wasn't. Marcus Rivera was here, offering to help, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. "Thank you." I said. Don't thank me yet. Wait until we take them down. That night, I called my aunt. Aunt Teresa, Dad's younger sister. We weren't close, but she'd always been kind. She'd sent me a card when I got into MIT. She'd texted congratulations on graduation day when my parents didn't. She answered on the second ring. Natalie, how's my MIT grad? Hi, Aunt Teresa, do you have a minute? For you? Always. What's up? I took a breath. I need to tell you something about Mom and Dad. Her tone shifted. Okay, I told her. Not everything, not the exposure plan, but the fraud. The credit cards. The forged signatures. The police report. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Teresa? I said. I'm here. She exhaled shakily. I'm trying to process. They stole from you? Yes. For Emma's wedding? Yes. And they skipped your graduation? For a hair appointment, 8 minutes away. More silence. Then, I'm so sorry, Natalie. It's not your fault. I know. But I'm still sorry. I should have noticed. I should have. Her voice cracked. You're their daughter. How could they do this to you? I don't know. Have you confronted them? Not yet. The detective said not to. Good. Don't. Not alone. She paused. What do you need from me? I need to know I'm not crazy. I need to know I'm not overreacting. You're not, Natalie. This is criminal. This is unforgivable. Unforgivable. I'd been waiting for someone in my family to say that. I'm pressing charges, I said. Good, you should. They might go to jail. Then they go to jail. Actions have consequences, even for family. Something in me broke. I started crying. Not the silent kind. The ugly kind, where you can't breathe and your face gets hot and you sound like a wounded animal. Oh, honey, Teresa said. I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry. I just wanted them to show up, I sobbed. That's all I wanted. Just for them to show up. I know. Why wasn't I enough? You are enough. You've always been enough. They're the ones who failed. I cried for 10 more minutes while she stayed on the line, not saying anything, just being there. When I finally calmed down, she spoke again. I'm coming to Boston, she said. What? This weekend. I'm getting a hotel. We're having dinner. And if you need anything, I'm here. Okay? Okay. I mean it, Natalie. You're not alone. I wasn't alone. Friday morning, I met with Marcus Webb again. He'd called me the night before. Detective Ortiz gave me an update. We need to talk. Now I was back in his office, sitting across from his desk, my stomach in knots. What happened? I asked. Marcus pulled out a file. Ortiz got the signature analysis back. The forensic document examiner confirmed both applications were forged. The signatures don't match your known handwriting samples. So it's definitely fraud. Definitely fraud. She also traced the IP addresses both applications came from your parents' home internet connection. Same device. Your dad's desktop computer. My dad had done this. I'd known, logically. But hearing it confirmed made it real in a different way. There's more, Marcus said. Ortiz pulled phone records. Your mother called Capital One 3 times in September 2021, the week the application was submitted. They have recordings. Recordings? Customer service calls are recorded. Your mom called pretending to be you, asking about application status. She gave your social security number, your date of birth, everything. They have her voice on tape saying, "This is Natalie Chen." Oh my God. That's worse, isn't it? That's identity fraud and wire fraud, federal crimes. The DA can add those charges if they want to. Federal crimes. My mother's voice on tape, pretending to be me. What happens now? I asked. Ortiz is referring the case to the Middlesex County District Attorney. They'll review the evidence and decide whether to prosecute. Given how strong the case is, I'd say there's a 95% chance they'll file charges. When? 2 to 3 weeks, maybe sooner. 2 to 3 weeks. Emma's birthday party was in 16 days. Will they be arrested before the party? I asked. Marcus hesitated. Probably not. These things take time. Warrants have to be issued. Arraignments scheduled. If the DA files charges, your parents will likely be arrested within a few days, but that'll be after June 29th. So I'll expose them before they're arrested. Yes, is that a problem? I thought about it. Part of me wanted the arrest to come first, wanted the legal system to validate me before I had to face them publicly. But another part of me wanted them to know I'd done this, wanted them to see my face when I told 200 people what they'd done. It's not a problem, I said. It's better this way. Marcus opened his laptop. Let's talk strategy. You want to expose them at the party. What does that look like? I don't know yet. Okay, let's workshop it. What's the setting? Their backyard, big tent, catered event. 200 guests, family, friends, neighbors, dad's coworkers, mom's yoga studio people. Who's the audience you care about most? The people who think my parents are perfect. The people who've been telling me my whole life that I should be grateful, that I should understand. That family comes first. So extended family, family friends. Yeah. And what's your goal? What do you want them to walk away knowing? I thought about that. I want them to know my parents are thieves. I want them to know what they did to me, and I want them to know I'm not staying silent anymore. Marcus nodded. Then you need 3 things. 1. A platform, a moment where everyone's paying attention and you can speak. 2. Evidence, physical proof they can see. 3. A clean exit. You say your piece and leave before it gets messy. How do I get a platform? Birthday speeches. There's always a toast. You volunteer to give one. And then I don't toast. I expose them. Exactly. It was so simple. So obvious. And it would destroy them. What evidence should I bring? I asked. The applications with the forged signatures. A few key statements showing the charges. The email from your mother. And the police report cover page case number visible. That's the one that'll hit hardest. Why? Because it proves this isn't just a family squabble. It's a criminal case. It's official. It's real. He was right. People could dismiss family drama. They couldn't dismiss a police report. I'll need copies, I said. I'll print them for you. Color copies, highlighted, laminated if you want. Laminated? Weatherproof, in case someone throws a drink. I hadn't thought about that. You think someone will throw a drink? I think your mother might try to grab the documents. Laminated paper is harder to rip. Jesus, this was really happening. What if I freeze? I asked. What if I get up there and can't do it? Then you sit back down. But I don't think you'll freeze. How do you know? Because you filed a police report against your parents? That's the hardest part. The party is just telling the truth out loud. Just telling the truth. I wished it felt that simple. Marcus pulled out another document. We need to talk about what happens after. After the party? After everything. After the DA files charges. After the media picks it up, and they will pick it up. MIT grad's parents steal her identity for sister's wedding? That's a headline. MIT grad's parents stestert av ringgrad. MIT grad's parents stellen pay. I hadn't thought about media. Local news, probably, Marcus continued. Maybe Boston Globe. Reddit will have a field day. You need to be prepared for that. Prepared how? No comment. Don't engage with reporters. Don't respond to online comments. Let the legal process play out. What about my family? They'll come after me. Some will, some won't. You need to decide now who you're willing to lose. Who was I willing to lose? Mom, Dad, obviously. Emma? Maybe. Probably. She hadn't known about the fraud, but she'd benefited from it. Her wedding had been funded by stolen money. Would she forgive me for exposing that? Did I care? I'm willing to lose whoever I need to lose, I said. Marcus smiled. Then you're ready. We spent the next hour planning. Logistics, timing, backup plans. Marcus would print the evidence packet 10 copies, laminated, bound with metal rings. I'd bring one to the party. The rest would stay with him in case mine got destroyed. I'd arrive at 6 p.m. with Jess and Marcus Rivera as backup. We'd stay near the exit. I'd volunteer for the toast around 7 p.m., after dinner, but before cake. The speech would be short, 2 minutes max. Accusation, evidence, police report, exit. No emotion, no crying, just facts. Think of it like a thesis defense. Marcus said. You present the evidence. You don't have to justify it. The evidence speaks for itself. A thesis defense. I could do that. I defended my actual thesis in front of 12 professors. I could defend this in front of 200 party guests. One more thing, Marcus said. After the party, you'll need somewhere to stay. Don't go back to your dorm alone. Stay with friends. Stay with your aunt. Just don't be alone. You think they'll come after me? I think they'll be humiliated and angry and looking for someone to blame. And that someone will be you. He was right. I'll stay with Aunt Teresa. She's getting a hotel this weekend. I'll ask if I can crash there after. Good. And Natalie? Yeah? You're doing the right thing. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you are. I wanted to believe him. The evidence packet arrived on Monday. Marcus Rivera's dad had printed everything 10 copies, full color, laminated pages, bound in black folders with metal rings. The cover page said, Evidence. Identity theft case #2024 to 8847. I opened the first folder. Page 1. The Capital One application with my forged signature, highlighted in yellow. Page 2. The Chase application, same highlighting. Page 3. My real signature from my driver's license, for comparison. Page 4. Mom's email. She never checks her credit anyway, highlighted in red. Page 5. Timeline of charges, organized by month, totaling $23,778. Page 6. Police report cover page showing case number, Detective Ortiz's name, charges filed. It was perfect. Professional. Undeniable. Devastating. My dad says good luck, Marcus said, handing me the stack. And if you need a witness at the party, I'm in. You'd come? Hell yeah. I want to see the look on their faces. I called Aunt Teresa that night. I'm doing it, I said. I'm exposing them at the party. She didn't hesitate. I'll be there. You don't have to. I want to. Someone in this family needs to stand with you. Might as well be me. What if it ruins your relationship with Dad? Natalie. My relationship with my brother died the second he stole from his daughter. I'm just making it official. I loved her for that. I'll need a place to stay after, I said. It's going to get ugly. My hotel has 2 beds, you're staying with me, and if anyone tries to come after you, they go through me first. For the first time in weeks, I felt safe. Wednesday, June 19th, 10 days until the party. I was in the library when my phone buzzed. Detective Ortiz, update. DA is filing charges. Arraignment scheduled July 8th. Your parents don't know yet. Stay quiet. My hands shook. The DA was filing charges? It was real. It was happening. I screenshotted the text and sent it to Jess. Jess, holy shit. Jess, they're going down. Jess, you okay? Me, I don't know. Jess, meet me at the cafe. Now. Jess was already there when I arrived. 2 coffees on the table. They're really doing it, I said, sitting down. Good, they should. July 8th, that's 9 days after the party. So you'll expose them, and then a week later, they get arrested. Yeah, perfect timing. Was it perfect? It felt like a tsunami building offshore. I could see it coming. I knew it would hit, but I couldn't stop it, couldn't slow it down. All I could do was stand on the beach and wait. Are you scared? Jess asked. Terrified. Of what? of what happens after, of losing everyone, of them hating me forever. They already don't appreciate you. What's the difference between being undervalued and being hated? I'd never thought about it that way. At least if they hate me, it's honest, I said. Exactly. And you'll be free. Free. The word felt impossible. Over the next week, I prepared. I practiced the speech in front of my mirror. Timed it. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Short enough to say before anyone could stop me. Long enough to lay out the facts. I rehearsed with Jess and Marcus. They played my parents, interrupting, denying, making excuses. I learned to keep talking, to hold up the evidence, to point at the police report. This is case number 2024 to 8,847, Cambridge Police, financial crimes. You can call them yourself. Simple, factual, impossible to argue with. We planned the logistics. I'd arrive at 6 p.m., stay near the back, blend in, wait for the toast. When Dad called for speeches, I'd volunteer. I'd like to say something about family. He'd hand me the microphone, thinking I was going to give a sweet sister speech. And then I'd burn their world down. June 26th, 3 days until the party. I went to my parents' house one last time. Not to confront them. Not to take anything. Just to see it. The house where I'd grown up. The trophy shelf. The kitchen table where they'd ignored my MIT acceptance. The driveway where I'd learned to ride a bike while Emma got a new car for her 16th birthday. I stood on the sidewalk staring. In 3 days, I was going to destroy them. In 3 days, everyone they knew would learn what they'd done. In 3 days, their perfect life would collapse. And I'd be the one holding the match. Was I ready? No. But I was doing it anyway. I called Emma. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to give her a warning. Maybe I wanted to see if she knew. She answered on the 3rd ring. Nat, oh my God, I've been meaning to call. Are you coming to my party? Yeah, I'll be there. Yay, it's going to be amazing. Mom went all out. You'll love it. Mom went all out. With stolen money. Emma, I said, did you know how Mom and Dad paid for your wedding? Pause. What do you mean? The budget, $89,000. Where do you think that came from? They saved. They told me they'd been saving for years. They didn't save. They opened credit cards in my name and charged $23,000 to them. Without telling me. Silence. Long, horrible silence. Emma? That's not true. Her voice was small. They wouldn't do that. I have the applications, the statements, the police report. Police report? I filed charges. Identity theft. The DA is prosecuting. Natalie, what the fuck? I wanted you to know before Saturday, before I tell everyone. Tell everyone? What are you talking about? I'm exposing them at your party, in front of all 200 guests. I thought you should know. She started crying. You can't. Nat, please. It's my birthday. They stole from me for your wedding. And they skipped my graduation. I'm done protecting them. This will ruin everything. They ruined everything first. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Emma would tell them. She'd warn them. They'd know I was coming. Good. Let them know. Let them spend 3 days dreading it. Friday night, June 28th. The night before the party. I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, running through the speech for the 100th time. My phone buzzed. Mom, Emma told me what you're planning. Don't do this. We can talk. We can fix this. I stared at the text. We can fix this. 33 months of fraud, a missed graduation, $23,000 stolen. And she thought we could fix this? Me. See you tomorrow. I blocked her number. Blocked Dad's. Blocked Emma's. I didn't need their excuses, didn't need their justifications. I needed to sleep. I needed to be ready. Because tomorrow, I was going to war. Saturday morning, June 29th. Party day. I woke up at 7 a.m., showered, put on the outfit I'd planned, simple black dress, MIT class ring, graduation cap tucked in my bag. Jess met me at 9 a.m. You ready? No. Good. Let's do this. Marcus met us at noon with the evidence folders. 10 copies. All yours. Go make them famous. Aunt Teresa called at 2 p.m. I'm at the hotel, room 412. After the party, you come straight here. I don't care what time. Okay? Okay. And Natalie? Yeah? I'm proud of you. I almost cried. At 5:30 p.m., we got in the car. Jess drove. Marcus sat in back with me. The evidence folder sat on my lap, black and heavy and full of truth. You've got this, Jess said. You've got this, Marcus echoed. I didn't feel like I had this. I felt like I was driving toward a cliff. But I wasn't stopping. We pulled onto my parents' street at 5:55 p.m. The house was lit up. White tent in the backyard, string lights, cars lining both sides of the street, music playing. 200 people were already here. 200 witnesses. I grabbed the folder. Took a breath. Let's go. We sat in the car for 5 minutes. The party was already loud. Music thumping, voices laughing. Through the backyard gate, I could see the white tent glowing with string lights. 200 people. My parents. Emma. Everyone who told me to be grateful my whole life. You don't have to do this, Jess said quietly. Yes, I do. We can leave right now. Drive away. File the charges, and let the legal system handle it. I looked at her. Would you? She thought about it. No. I'd burn them down too. Then let's go. We walked through the side gate at 6:03 p.m. The backyard was transformed. White tent covering half the lawn. Cocktail tables with centerpieces. Catered food stations. A bar in the corner. DJ booth near the house. And people. Everywhere. I recognized most of them. Dad's coworkers from the accounting firm. Mom's yoga studio friends. Aunts and uncles I saw twice a year. Neighbors from down the street. Emma's college friends. No one recognized me at first. I'd kept my head down, stayed near Jess and Marcus. Then someone did. Natalie! Aunt Karen, Mom's sister, rushed over. Oh my God, you're here. We weren't sure you'd come. Why wouldn't I come? She glanced toward the tent. Well, Emma said there was some family tension. Family tension. It's fine, I said. I wanted to celebrate my sister. Aunt Karen beamed. That's so mature of you. Your mother will be thrilled. She walked away. Marcus leaned in. You're a good liar. I learned from the best. We positioned ourselves near the back of the tent, close to the exit, good view of the main area where the speeches would happen. I scanned the crowd. Mom was near the food tables, talking to her book club. Navy dress, pearl earrings, the picture of elegance. Dad stood by the bar with his firm's partners, laughing, drink in hand, tie loosened. Emma held court in the center, surrounded by friends. Pink dress. Perfect hair, the hair they'd chosen over my graduation. She looked happy. None of them had seen me yet. When do you do it? Marcus asked. After dinner, before cake. That's when Dad always does birthday toasts. How long until then? I checked my phone. 6:15 p.m. Hour and a half, maybe less. You need anything? Water, and somewhere to throw up. Jess squeezed my hand. You've got this. I didn't feel like I had this. I felt like I was about to detonate a bomb in the middle of my family. At 6:47 p.m., Mom saw me. I was standing near the bar when she appeared, wine glass in hand, smile frozen on her face. Natalie. Her voice was tight. You came. Wouldn't miss it. Emma said you weren't coming. Emma was wrong. Mom glanced at the folder in my hand. Black, laminated, obvious. What's that? Evidence. Her face went pale. Natalie, please. Not here. Why not? Because this is your sister's birthday. Can't we just have one nice family event? One nice family event. After 33 months of fraud. After missing my graduation. After 22 years of making me invisible. No, I said. We can't. Mom's hand trembled. Wine sloshed in her glass. If you do this, you'll regret it. I already regret spending 22 years hoping you'd care. I walked away. Behind me, I heard her say my name. I didn't turn around. Dinner started at 7 p.m. Catered stations, carved meat, pasta, salads, desserts. I couldn't eat. Jess made me take 3 bites of bread. You need something in your stomach. I'm fine. You're shaking. I was. Across the tent, Dad was watching me. He'd seen me now, seen the folder. He leaned over to Mom, whispered something. She nodded. They knew what was coming. Good. At 7:34 p.m., the DJ turned down the music. Dad stepped into the center of the tent, microphone in hand. Can I have everyone's attention? The crowd quieted. Faces turned toward him. I want to thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate our beautiful daughter Emma's 28th birthday. Applause. Emma smiled, waving from her table. Emma, you've brought so much joy to our lives. We're so proud of the woman you've become. More applause. I felt Jess's hand on my arm. Breathe. I was holding my breath. Dad continued. Before we bring out the cake, I'd like to invite anyone who wants to say a few words about Emma to come up. Don't be shy. This was it. My moment. Emma's maid of honor went first, told a story about college. Everyone laughed. Then Emma's husband, sweet speech about how much he loved her. Then Aunt Karen, something about Emma's kindness. I stood up. Jess grabbed my wrist. You're sure? I'm sure. Marcus handed me the folder. Make them remember this. I walked toward the center of the tent. Every step felt impossible. My legs were shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it over the music. 200 faces watching me approach. Dad's face when he saw me. Confusion. Then recognition. Then panic. He tried to step in front of me. Natalie, maybe we should... I'd like to say something about family, I said loudly. The crowd murmured. Dad hesitated. Just a quick toast, I said, smiling at the audience. Dad had no choice. Not without making a scene. He handed me the microphone. His hand was shaking. Mine wasn't. Not anymore. I stood in the center of the tent. 217 people watching me. Mom near the food tables, face white. Dad beside me, frozen. Emma at her table, mascara already smudging. Aunt Teresa in the back, phone out, recording. I held up the microphone. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie, the daughter who graduated from MIT 3 weeks ago. Confused applause. A few people smiled. The graduation my parents missed, for a hair appointment. The smiles faded. I opened the folder. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because while I was earning my degree in electrical engineering, my parents committed identity theft against me. Gasps. Someone dropped a glass. The tent went silent. I hold up the first document. Capital One application. Yellow highlighting on the forged signature. They opened 2 credit cards in my name without my knowledge or consent. I turn the page toward the crowd. People lean forward, squinting. This is the Capital One application. That's my name, my social security number, but that's not my signature. I pull out my driver's license. Hold it next to the application. This is my real signature. You can see the difference. Murmurs ripple through the tent. Dad steps forward. Natalie, this isn't the time. When is the time, Dad? I cut him off. When you skipped my graduation? When you forged my name? When you ruined my credit score? He freezes. I turn back to the crowd. They stole $23,778 from me. I flip to the timeline page, hold it up. To pay for Emma's wedding. Heads turn toward Emma. She's crying, hands over her face. While I worked 3 jobs. While I lived on ramen. While I wore the same clothes for 4 years because I couldn't afford new ones. My voice is steady, factual, no emotion. They were spending my stolen credit on cake tastings. Mom rushes forward. Natalie, please. Please, what, Mom? I hold up her email. The one she thought I'd never see. This is an email you sent to Dad. September 8th, 2021. The day before you applied for the cards. I read it aloud. Here's Natalie's SSN and DOB for the applications. I checked her credit, it's 720, so she'll get approved easily. Apply for both cards on the same day so the inquiries hit at once. Less suspicious. Gasps, louder this time. Someone in the back yells, "Oh my God!" I keep reading. She never checks her credit anyway. The words echo through the tent. Mom's face crumples. We were going to pay you back. A loan requires consent, Mom. This is called fraud. I pull out the final document. Police report. Case number visible. This is case number 2024 to 8847. Cambridge Police Department, Financial Crimes Unit, Detective Lena Ortiz. I hold it up so everyone can see. I filed charges 3 weeks ago. Identity theft, forgery. The Middlesex County District Attorney is prosecuting. The tent erupts. People standing. Shouting. Phones out. Recording. The arraignment is July 8th, I say over the noise. They'll be arrested within days. Dad grabs my arm. You're tearing this family apart. I yank free. You tore it apart when you stole from me. We did it for Emma, for her wedding, for the family. You did it because you couldn't afford your lies. His face goes red. We gave you everything. You gave Emma everything. I worked for mine. The crowd is a chaos of voices now. Some shouting at my parents, some at me. Emma's friends trying to comfort her. Dad's co-workers backing away. Aunt Teresa pushes through the crowd, stands beside me. I believe her, she says loudly. Every word. Uncle Bob steps forward too. Rich, what the hell did you do? Dad looks around wildly, looking for allies, for support. No one moves. Mom sinks into a chair, sobbing. We were going to tell you. We were going to fix it. You had 33 months to tell me, I say. You chose not to. I turn to Emma. She's staring at me, makeup streaked, hands shaking. I didn't know, she whispers. Nat, I swear I didn't know. Your wedding was built on fraud, I say quietly. Every vendor bill, every dress fitting, stolen from me. I'll pay you back. I don't want your money. I want you to know what they did. She breaks down completely. Her husband pulls her into his arms. I feel nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, just emptiness. I turn back to the crowd. My parents told me my whole life that family comes first, that I should understand, that I should be grateful. I hold up the police report one more time. I'm done understanding. I'm done being grateful. They stole from their own daughter to throw a party, and 217 people just watched me prove it. I drop the microphone. It hits the ground with a screech of feedback. I walk toward the exit. Jess and Marcus fall in behind me. Aunt Teresa follows. Behind us, chaos, shouting, crying, accusations. Someone grabs my shoulder. I spin around. It's Aunt Karen, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry, she says. I didn't know. I should have known. I don't respond. I just keep walking. We reach the gate. I don't look back. Behind me, I hear Dad yelling my name. I don't stop. Jess opens the car door. I slide into the back seat, clutching the evidence folder. Marcus starts the engine. As we pull away, I see people flooding out of the tent, phones raised, filming, taking photos. By midnight, this will be everywhere. Local news, Reddit, Facebook groups. My parents' faces attached to the word fraud. Emma's birthday ruined forever. 217 witnesses who will never forget. I lean my head against the window. You did it, Jess says softly. Yeah. How do you feel? I think about it. Free. The video went viral in 4 hours. Aunt Teresa had streamed the entire exposure live on Facebook. By 11 p.m., it had been screen recorded and posted to Reddit, Twitter, TikTok. By 2 a.m., local news outlets were calling. By 6 a.m. Sunday morning, I had 847 missed calls. I turned off my phone. I was at Aunt Teresa's hotel room, the Marriott Cambridge, room 412, 2 queen beds and a view I didn't look at. Jess stayed with me. Marcus went home but texted every hour. You good? I wasn't good. I was numb. I'd done it. I'd exposed them in front of everyone. I'd held up the evidence, stated the facts, walked away. And now the world knew. MIT grad's parents steal identity for sister's wedding. Parents miss graduation for hair appointment 8 minutes away. Daughter exposes fraud at birthday party. The headlines wrote themselves. You should eat something, Jess said around 9 a.m., holding out a granola bar. I couldn't. My stomach was a knot. My phone, still off, sat on the nightstand like a grenade. I knew what was waiting inside. Texts from family members, voicemails from my parents, threats, apologies, accusations. Do you regret it? Aunt Teresa asked quietly. I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said. I don't. And I meant it. By Sunday evening, the story had been picked up by Boston Globe, local TV stations, and a dozen true crime Reddit threads. Someone had compiled all the evidence. I'd shown photos of the applications, the timeline, Mom's email, and posted it with fact checks, verified as real. The internet had decided my parents were monsters. I was a hero. I didn't feel like either. The arraignment happened faster than expected. Detective Ortiz called me on July 2nd, 4 days after the party. The DA fast-tracked it. Your parents are being arrested tomorrow morning. Thought you should know. Tomorrow morning. What happens? I asked. They'll be booked, arraigned, released on bail. Then we wait for trial or plea negotiations. Will they go to jail? Depends. If they plead guilty, probably probation and restitution. If they go to trial and lose, maybe a year. But this is a first offense. White-collar crime. Judge will likely be lenient. Lenient felt wrong, but I'd done what I could. On July 3rd at 7:14 a.m., my parents were arrested at their home. I didn't watch. But Aunt Teresa did. She'd driven past their house that morning, saw the police cars, the neighbors watching. She texted me a photo, 2 officers leading Dad to a cruiser in handcuffs. It's real now, she wrote. It had always been real. But this made it visible. The arraignment was July 8th at Middlesex Superior Court. Marcus Webb went with me. Aunt Teresa, Jess. Marcus Rivera. We sat in the back row of the courtroom while my parents stood at the defense table in wrinkled clothes and dead eyes. The charges were read aloud. 2 counts identity theft, 2 counts forgery, 1 count larceny over $1,200. They pleaded not guilty. Bail set at $10,000 each, which they posted immediately. The judge scheduled a status hearing for August 15th. I didn't speak, didn't make eye contact, just sat there while the legal system ground forward. As we left the courthouse, Dad tried to approach me in the hallway. A bailiff stopped him. Aunt Teresa had gotten a temporary restraining order the day before. No contact within 500 feet. He stood there, 10 feet away, and said my name. I kept walking. Over the next 6 weeks, their lawyer tried to negotiate. They wanted to avoid trial, wanted a plea deal. The DA's offer: plead guilty to reduced charges, 2 years probation, $30,000 restitution, covering the stolen amount, plus interest, legal fees, and credit repair, 200 hours community service, and permanent felony convictions on record. My parents rejected it. They think they can win, Marcus told me in late August. Their lawyers arguing it was a family misunderstanding, that you gave verbal permission. I never gave permission. I know, but they're desperate. The case went to a status conference. The judge reviewed the evidence, forged signatures, Mom's email, the police forensics. He called their defense implausible and strongly recommended they accept the plea. On September 19th, they did. The plea hearing was short. My parents stood before the judge and admitted guilt. Identity theft, forgery, fraud. The judge asked if I wanted to give a victim impact statement. I did. I stood at the podium, hands shaking, and read from a script I'd written the night before. My parents didn't just steal money, they stole my peace, my security, my ability to trust my own family. For 33 months, they used my credit to fund a wedding I wasn't even included in. Then they missed my college graduation, the thing I'd worked 4 years for to prioritize my sister's hair appointment 8 minutes away. When I discovered the fraud, they called me dramatic. They said I should understand. They said family comes first, but family doesn't steal. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't make you feel invisible for 22 years and then expect forgiveness. I don't forgive them. I don't want their apologies. I want them to face the consequences of what they did, because actions have consequences, even for parents. The courtroom was silent. The judge looked at my parents. I've seen a lot of financial crimes, but stealing from your own child to fund a party? That's despicable. I'm accepting the plea, but I want you to know, you didn't just break the law, you broke your daughter, and that's something no sentence can fix. He sentenced them to the full terms: 2 years probation, $30,000 restitution at $1,250 month, 200 hours community service, 5-year restraining order, and permanent felony records. They'd never work in finance again. They'd never pass a background check. Their reputations were destroyed. I walked out of that courtroom and felt nothing. No triumph, no relief, just emptiness. Jess grabbed my hand. "It's over." "Yeah," I said, "it's over." The family fractured immediately. Aunt Teresa cut off my parents completely. "I have one niece now," she told me. "And it's you." Uncle Bob, Dad's brother, did the same. Called me the week after the plea. "Your father's dead to me. What he did is unforgivable." Cousin Alex, Uncle Bob's son, started texting me weekly. "You're a badass. Never apologize for this." But others sided with my parents. Grandma Chen called me a disgrace. "You don't put your parents in court. You don't air family business." I blocked her number. Aunt Karen, Mom's sister, tried to play peacemaker. "They made a mistake, Natalie. Can't you forgive them?" I told her forgiveness wasn't owed. She stopped calling. Emma was the complicated one. She'd sent a long text 2 days after the party. "I didn't know about the credit cards, I swear. I'm horrified. I'm paying you back every cent, $23,778 over 3 years. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I need you to know I didn't ask for this." I didn't respond for a week. When I finally did, I wrote, "I believe you didn't know, but your wedding was still funded by fraud. I can't pretend that didn't happen." She wrote back, "I understand. I don't know how to fix this, but I want to try." We met for coffee in October. Awkward, painful, she cried. "I didn't." "I'm sorry," she said for the 10th time. "I know." "Do you hate me?" I thought about it. "No, but we're not who we were. Can we be sisters again? Maybe, someday, but not now." She nodded. "Understood." We've texted a few times since. Birthday wishes. Holidays. Nothing deep. We're rebuilding slowly. Or maybe we're just pretending we can. By December, the restitution payments started arriving. $1,250 a month, directly deposited from my parents' joint account into mine. I didn't spend it. I put it in a savings account and tried not to think about where it came from. Emma sent her first payment too, $661.61. Exactly 1/36 of $23,778. The money felt like blood money, but I didn't send it back. I'd earned it. It's been 2 years now. June 2026. I'm 24 years old. I live in San Francisco, work as an electrical engineer at Tesla, and make $98,000 a year plus stock options. I have my own apartment in the Mission District, small, expensive, mine. I've paid off $14,000 of my student loans. I have $18,000 in savings. For the first time in my life, I feel financially secure. My credit score is 751. The fraudulent accounts were removed, the damage repaired. I check my credit report every month now. I'll probably always check it. I haven't spoken to my parents since the plea hearing. They've tried. Letters sent through Marcus Webb. Voicemails left on numbers I've changed 3 times. They showed up at Aunt Teresa's house once she called the police, and the restraining order was enforced. The last letter came in April. I didn't open it. I know what it says. We're sorry. We were desperate. We love you. Can we talk? No. Some bridges need to burn, and I'm not guilty for lighting the match. Emma and I are in a weird limbo. We video call once a month, surface level stuff. She tells me about her job marketing at a nonprofit. I tell her about Tesla. We don't talk about the wedding. We don't talk about our parents. She finished her repayment plan early, paid the full $23,778 in 2.5 years instead of 3. I didn't thank her. It wasn't a gift. It was a debt, but I respect that she paid it. Last month, she asked if I'd come to Thanksgiving this year. Her place, not our parents. Just her husband, me, and maybe Aunt Teresa. I said I'd think about it. I'm still thinking about it. Aunt Teresa is family now. Real family. The kind that shows up. She visits California twice a year. We talk every Sunday. She was there when I got promoted to lead engineer. There when I cried on my first Mother's Day without a mother. There when I needed someone to say, "You did the right thing, and I'm proud of you." She's the mom I should have had. Jess is still my best friend. She's in grad school now, Harvard, studying immunology. We're 3 hours apart, but we text every day. She was the first person I called when I got the Tesla job. The first person I told when I went on a date that didn't end in me explaining my family trauma. She's the sister Emma could have been. Marcus Rivera still sends me memes about taking down corrupt parents. We don't work together anymore. He's at SpaceX now, but we get dinner every few months. He framed a copy of the evidence folder and hung it in his apartment. "A reminder," he said, "that justice is possible." I didn't frame mine. I keep it in a drawer. I don't need to see it to remember. I'm in therapy. Weekly sessions for the last 2 years. EMDR for betrayal trauma. Cognitive behavioral therapy for trust issues. It's helping. Slowly. I don't flinch when I get mail anymore. I don't panic when I see a bill. I don't check my credit score 5 times a day. I still have bad days. Mother's Day. Father's Day. My birthday, the day I remember I'm another year older and they still don't care. But I have good days too. Days where I wake up in my apartment and remember I built this. Days where I get a paycheck and know every dollar is mine. Days where I'm proud of who I am. Not ashamed of who they made me feel like. People ask if I regret it. Exposing them. Filing charges. Ruining their lives. I don't. They made a choice. 33 months of choices. To forge my signature. To hide the accounts. To skip my graduation. To call me dramatic when I asked why. I made a choice too. To tell the truth. And the truth burned them down. That's not my fault. That's theirs. I saw them once. By accident. Last November, I was visiting Boston for work. Stopped at a coffee shop in Lexington. Stupid, I know. But I wasn't thinking. They were there. Older. Grayer. Smaller somehow. Mom's hair wasn't dyed anymore. Dad's suit didn't fit right. They looked defeated. They didn't see me. I left before they could. I didn't feel sympathy. I didn't feel anger. I felt nothing. They're strangers now. Strangers who share my DNA. Strangers who made me. Strangers who tried to break me and failed. Last month, Someone asked me what I'd say to them if I could. I thought about it for a long time. If I could say anything, I'd say this. You told me my whole life that family comes first, that I should understand, that I should be grateful. But family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who believes you, who stands beside you when the world is burning. You were never that for me. Aunt Teresa was, Jess was, Marcus was. They're my family now. You're just the people who taught me what I didn't want to become. But I won't say it. Because they don't deserve my words. They had 22 years to hear me. They chose not to listen. I graduated from MIT. I work at Tesla. I have $18,000 in savings. I have a future they can't touch. I am Natalie Chen. I am an MIT engineer. I am enough. I always was. My achievement was never theirs to fund. My worth was never theirs to measure. My life was never theirs to control. I took it all back, and I'm never giving it up again. If you're reading this or listening or watching, however this story reached you and it sounds familiar, I want you to know something. You're not dramatic. You're not ungrateful. You're not wrong for wanting the people who raised you to actually see you. Financial abuse is real abuse. Identity theft is a crime, even when it's family. And you don't owe forgiveness to people who hurt you just because you share DNA. Check your credit reports. Freeze your credit if you need to. Set boundaries, even if they're uncomfortable. And if you have to walk away, walk away. Some bridges need to burn, and you're not the villain for holding the match. You deserve people who show up, who celebrate you, who don't steal from your future to fund someone else's party. And if your family isn't those people, build a new one. I did, and I'm happier now than I ever was pretending everything was fine. This is Achiever Betrayed. Thank you for listening to my story.